Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Bhadram Karne Bhishrunayama Devaham Bhadram Pashe Makshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangai Stuštuvagam Sastanubhihi Veshema Devahitai Yadayuhum Swasti na Indro Vruddhashavaha Swasti nah पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ. Yeah. Dear devotees, we were discussing in the third chapter, second Mundaka or second canto, second subchapter we were discussing. First two verses we did discuss. And the third verse, which I told in my previous class, it is often quoted. It is often quoted and it is often misunderstood or misquoted also, I can say. So when we go into the verse, we will be able to understand why am I saying. Now the question may come for all of us. When you study engineering, when you study science, maths, physics, languages, whatnot, then which are the different branches of the knowledge or subjects? By studying and by knowing, what do I get? I get my bread and butter. I get my job. I get money. I get some positions and etc. Then by studying Vedanta, what do I get? Of course, when you study academically, you may get some professorship or associate professor in some of the very few universities which have got a philosophy subject as a course. So by studying, what do I get? This can be the one of the question. So by then, because this is Vedanta, so by studying the Upanishads, by studying Vedanta, do I get God realization? Prayojanam anuddishya namandopi pravartate. Even the fool, without knowing the profit, without knowing the use, he doesn't do any work. Even the greatest fool maybe, but still he likes to know it. So that has been discussed beautifully in this chapter, in this particular verse. And also, apart from that, in this 2-3 verses, what are the sadhanas? What are the spiritual practices one has to do for self-emancipation, for God realization, for self-realization is also has been discussed here. Because if you remember, mainly 4 topics has been discussed in this Upanishad. One is Atma Swarupa, the nature of the self. Then Atma Gnana, that is the knowledge of the Atman, what it is indestructible, it is eternal, it is the subject, never the object, all these things. Then Atma Swarupa Sadhanani, how to attain this Atma Gnana, how to attain the Atman, that is what Sadhanani, different spiritual practices. The fourth is Phalam, Atma Gnana Phalam. By having Atma Gnana, by having emancipation, self-realization, what do I get it? These are the 4 topics at broad canvas the Rishi is discussing. Now in these 3 verses, now onwards, 2-3 verses, the author is recapitulating the sadhanani which has been discussed already in the earlier chapters. Nayamatma pravachanena labhyaha na medaya na bhuvna shrutena yeme vaishe vrunute tena labhyaha tasyaisha atma vivrunate tanum swam. The self is not attained through study, nor through the intellect, nor through much hearing. The very self which is sought by an aspirant is attainable through that fact of seeking. This self of his reveals its own nature. So the student actually asked Mahashala Shaunaka. So if you remember, for Shaunaka, the student Shaunaka, there is an adjective called Mahashala. Why am I reminding or remembering here is, what is this Mahashala? He was one of the greatest householder. Greatest householder means what? In the Vedic literature, who was doing Panchagni Tapas, or 5 types of sacrifices. It is not only oblations, different type of duties has been told to the householder who was well established in that. That means being an householder, taking care of all the mundane responsibilities, he had a time to think of the self, to question and to know about the nature of the self. Spirituality, self-knowledge, God, and all only for monks or for the jobless people or for retired people. When we are working, when we are busy, it is not possible and it may not be required. This is what I got idea, very foolish idea, very wrong idea. But here, who is the student? Is Mahashala Shaunaka, means he is the greatest householder who was well established in his duties. No more, he never compromised in his duties and his services. That's why. And teacher was Angirasa. Okay. Now, what is the Atma Sadhana? This is what has been discussed here. So basically, if you want me to say in one sentence, the commitment, complete commitment, 100% commitment, or complete sincerity, patience and perseverance are the most essential for self-realization. That has been told in a different way. Now, what do I mean by this? Commitment, sincerity, complete sincerity. What do I mean by that? Swamiji, you are a monk, you don't have anything else. You can spend all the time, all the time for God realization, self-realization. Even if we think, we desire, we are householders. We have got our own commitments. We have got our own duties. How can you say that there should be 10% commitment, 10% sincerity or whatever? Here, I mean prioritization. God can be the main dish for some of us. God can be the side dish for some of us. Moksha, spirituality can be the main dish for some of us and it can be side dish for some of us. So now the author or the Rishi is telling very clearly, if you want moksha, either the Bhagavan or Atman should be the main dish, not the side dish. For example, you are having a lunch. So rice and dal or chapati and curry is the main dish, no doubt. Pickle or sweet, maybe a second type of curry, or maybe some other things, salad, vegetable salads, fruit salad. All these are side dishes. Whether if they are having, if they have, fine. If they don't have, also fine. But main meal like rice and sambar, or rice and dal, or chapati and curry, chapati and vegetables is the main dish. Now for us, for some of us, world and its properties or world and its objects, accumulation of the world and its objects is what the main dish, and the God is side dish. And for some of us, the God is the main dish, and the world and its object, its accumulation and etc. can be the side dish. Now, who can attain moksha? Who can attain Brahmagnana? If you ask, the Rishi is telling that if you make Atmagnana, attainment of Atman, attainment of God as a main dish, if you prioritize, then only the moksha or mukti is possible. Otherwise, it is not possible. That's what now we have to understand here. If you say in a Niti Shadaka or Vairagya Shadakam, so Bhartrahari tells beautifully, Ayur Varshasadam Nunam Parimitam Ratro Tadardam Gataha Tayor Tasyardhasya Parasya Charda Param Balat Vivrudatvayoho Shesham Vyadi Viyoga Dukka Saitam Sevadi Birniyate Jive Vari Taranga Chanchalatare Saukyam Kuta Praninam. Means it goes like this. Human life, at the most, we can get 100 years at the most. Among that, half of the time we spend in sleep and maybe recreation or sleep and ablutions. Then in the remaining in the half, 25% goes in our childhood and in the old age. In the childhood, we don't understand. In the old age, though we understand, we can't put into practice. And only whatever 25% is there, among them, sometimes we have got disease, sometimes we have got some worldly commitments, sometimes we have got the pain of suffering, pain of separation, then sorrow, career development, duties, etc., etc., etc. In such a unstable life, so-called unstable life, then where is the question of attaining Brahman, or where is the question of happiness? But still people are sticking to it. What a wonder, the Bhartrahari says. So basically the transitoriness of the life and the importance of the time is what we have to understand. So we not to become pessimistic, we not to become negative in the nature, but only we have to understand the transitoriness of the world, and we have to understand the time is a wealth. Now, Yeshah Atma, this Atman, Nayam Atma, Ayam Atma, Pravachanena Labhya. Ayam Atma, this self. Which self? The which was discussed earlier. The self. I mean, it's basically a self, the self. Na Pravachanena Labhya. It is not, what you say, it is not attainable through discourse. Oh, Swamiji, you are giving lot of discourses. We are also attending lot of classes. That means neither you nor we attain Brahman. So, Swamiji, Upanishad itself has told by discourse one cannot attain Brahman. Then why are you giving discourse? Then I say conveniently, or of course it's a fact also, I am not giving discourse, I am having my class, or I am conducting this Upanishad as a part of class, not as a discourse. Yeah. So here, pravachana means one is the general meaning. In Kannada also it is there, in Hindi also. Most of the vernacular, Indian vernacular languages we have got, pravachana means discourse. That is the one meaning. But here it is a different meaning. Pravachana means not a discourse, it is the study of the scriptures. I have studied Vedas, I have studied Upanishads, I have studied Brahma Sutra, I have studied Puranas, I have studied Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakarna, Jyotisha, whatnot. All these things I have studied. I'm such an intelligent man. I know Sanskrit. I have studied all these things. Then moksha is possible for me, or moksha is certain for me. If you think the Rishi is saying no. Why? Mere study, mere hearing, mere learning all of them is by that you can be intelligent person, you are knowledgeable person, you can quote them, you can explain them, all these things fine, but moksha is not possible for you. Why? Until otherwise, if without there is an intent desire to get liberated, intense desire, without the intense desire, you cannot get the moksha. Means mumukshutva is very, very important. Moktum ichha mumukshutva. One who has got that mumukshutva, he is called mumukshu. Means one who has got intense desire for liberation. One who has got intense desire to experience the God, to experience the self, he alone can attain moksha, mukti, or brahmagnana. Swamiji, I am attending pravachanas of so many monks. I am going to ashrama from so much long time. I am attending satsang from long time. Will I get mukti? Again, so that is one has to think. By attending all of them, it is a good work, no doubt, good job. It is something good job than other things, instead of wasting time in the mundane affairs or in the petty things. But without intense desire for liberation, by mere hearing, by mere reading, by mere thinking, one will not get moksha, one will not get mukti. That's what has been told. So Nayamatma Pravachena Labhya means by mere intellectual pursuit, by intellectual thinking or studying, one cannot get moksha or mukti. Na medaha, na meda. Ayam atma, na medaya labhya. So ayam atma labhya has to be added for every word here. This Atman is not available, is not attainable by intelligence. Meda, intelligence. Here Meda means it is not by memorizing. Because if you remember, or if you know, whoever knows how the Vedas were transmitted from generations to generation, from Guru to Shishya. Now printed books are available, we can see, even books have gone now, internet is available, or if our mobile or iPad or ebook or one more thing is there, e-pads are available. There all our Upanishads books are available, just we are seeing or we are reading, we can go through. In the olden days, there were no printed books. Then how they were able to remember? For example, 15 or 25,000 shlokas of the Rigveda mantras were supposed to be memorized by the disciple. When the Guru chants, first time, when the Guru chants, he is to listen and is to memorize. That's how this Ganapata, Samhita Pata, Pada Pata, all these things has come. For example, whatever now I chanted at the beginning of this class, that is called Samhita Pata. There is called Padapata. Even for example, Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. This is what Samhita Pata. Om Namaha Bhagavate Rudraya iti. This is called Padapata. And there is a Ganapata. Om Namo, Om Namo, Om Namo, Namo Bhagavate, Namo Bhagavate, Om Namo Bhagavate, Namo Bhagavate, Bhagavate Rudraya, Namo Bhagavate Rudraya, Bhagavate Rudraya, Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. So, like this. There is a formula, of course, for this. So, front and back, they chant. Why they used to do, these are the different techniques was given by our rishis so that we can memorize and we can be very precise so that we will not do any mistakes. So first two words we chant and 2-3 times repeat, and the first word is left and third word is taken. Second and third we chant, then again third is left, then first for one time just one first word is added, then left, then third and fourth. Like that, these different type of chantings were done. So by doing this, they had to remember, they had to memorize all the 100,000 shlokas of Mahabharata, 1 lakh shlokas. People were there to who had memorized, who used to remember. So such people, do they get moksha or mukti? No. Ayamatma na medaya labhyaha. If you have memorized all the scriptures, yeah, whatever scriptures you are called moving encyclopedia. Oh my goodness, if you ask, he knows anything and everything, everything is on his fingertips. If he tells, does he get moksha or mukti? No. Now bhavna shrutena, he has heard a lot. Oh my God. For example, a Swami has taken 500 classes or 1,000 classes. This devotee, he or she has not left even one class, missed one class. All the classes he or she attended. What a great lady, what a great person. Yes, no doubt. Some amount of sincerity is there, some amount of dedication, commitment is there. That's the reason they were able to attend 500 or 1,000 classes of a monk, no doubt. But by mere that alone, one cannot get mukti or moksha. Why? Because there should be intense desire for liberation. Nabhuna Shutena. So that doesn't mean that studying, memorizing chapters, studying and hearing the talks, attending the Vedanta classes, all these things are in vain. So there is no use. Upanishad itself has told, then let me not get into the classes. If you think then I will be in problem. Next week onwards, no more class, because you have thought and you have decided no more class. No, we don't mean that actually here. So what the author's intention is, all of them has got some benefit, no doubt, but none of them can give moksha and mukti by themselves. Then what gives? That has been told in the third and fourth line. Let us see. So what is the important thing if you ask? They're saying, Yam eva yesha virunute tena labhyaha. The one who chooses the moksha, mukti, Bhagavat Sakshatkara, that is realization of self or realization of God as the sole goal of life, the important part of his life, as the main goal of his life, for such a person only it is possible. Studying Vedantas, it helps. Hearing lectures, it helps. Memorizing them, it helps to a certain extent, no doubt. Because if you don't do, empty mind is devil's workshop. If you don't do good work, then your mind may be prone to do some bad work, or you use less work, or maybe even negative thoughts also, whatever. So by doing all of them, some amount of purity, some amount of good things has been achieved, no doubt. But none of them can give moksha or mukti. Only when you seek the Brahman intensely, I want that and that alone, nothing else. Such a mindset person alone can get the moksha or mukti. For an example, if you have read, any one of you have read Kathopanishad, in the Kathopanishad, Nachiketa story is there. Nachiketa goes to Yamaloka. So there, first he asked for the Swarga, the Vidya for Swarga, because his father wanted, he got it. The second one, that is, first, when he goes back, then his father should recognize, he asked very intelligently. That means, I've come to Yamaloka, I'll be going, you have to allow me. Okay. Second, please teach the Vidya by which one can reach Swarga, because my father is interested, he got it. What was the third? Some say after death, nothing exists, nothing is survived. And some say after death, there's something survives. Can you tell me what is the truth? Because you are the Lord of death. The Anama says, oh my dear, that is very, very subtle, very difficult. That is called Brahmagnana. Even the Devatas, demigods, they won't get it. They are very far from that. Except this, you ask anything and everything. You want thousands of years of life, I'm ready to give. You want hundreds of I mean, a good number of wives, 100 sons and grandsons, property, then kingship, good elephants, horses, gold, jewels. Maybe now in the present day, if you ask, then BMW cars or Tesla cars or whatnot. All these things was given by, what do you say, for one boon. Instead of one boon, all these things was Emma was ready to give. If we were asked, probably, yeah, okay, Brahmagnana, we will see next year or maybe next life. Let me enjoy this life. We would have accepted. But Nachiketa said, no, you keep all of them. Why? Indriyanam jarayanti teja. By enjoying for some time, okay. Afterwards, the sense gratification, the desire for sense gratification increases, but by body and mind's power gets decreased, then even if I've got every best food, I will be boiled down to boiled food. So there is no use all of them. He understood. He was very clear about the transitoriness or transitory nature of this mundane world. He said, none of them I want. If you can give me that the Brahmagnana, the knowledge of the self. Otherwise, I don't need anything else. Then Yama was so pleased to hear this. Yama said, I was testing you, I was examining you, whether are you fit person, eligible person to receive Brahmagnana. Now I know, now I am sure, certain that yes, you are aware and you are eligible for this Brahmagnana, and he teaches, and Nachiketa understands, hears and understands and realizes, and he becomes a Brahmagnani. Now, what was the teaching was given by Yama? Everything has been put in a Kathopanishad. When we read, we don't get Brahmagnana. Nachiketa got Brahmagnana from the same teachings and we don't get it. I may read 10 times, 20 times, 30 times, still I might not have got. Why? Because the intense desire for liberation is not there. Sri Ramakrishna tells beautifully. For example, he gives the beautiful story. For example, I mean, once the guru was taking a bath in the water body, maybe in the lake, and the disciple was waiting for him at the bank. Suddenly, Guru called him, and the disciple entered the water. And suddenly, the Guru, all of a sudden, he took the head of his, disciple, and he pressed inside the water. So for some time he was there, and the student was panic because he was feeling breathless. He wanted a breath or whatever. He was becoming restless. But still, Guru was holding for some time. Maybe a few minutes afterwards, then the Guru loosened his hand or a hold. Then disciple got up and he was gasping. Since he was a good student or a good disciple, he kept quiet. He was not angry or he didn't scold him or whatever. Then the Guru asked, what did you feel? What were you feeling? What were you thinking about yourself or about what did you want when you were inside the water? When I was pushed you into the water? The disciple said, I didn't think anything else. I thought only one. What is that? The gasp of breath. Just a breath I was thinking. If I get, then I'll be leaving. Now, apart from that, I didn't think anything else. There was only one thought. How can I breathe? How can I get that gasp of breath? Then the Guru said, yes, my dear. So this type of akulata, when you get it, you will have God realization, you will have self-realization. So that has been told here. Yame Vaisha Vrunate Tena Labhyaha. One who chooses the Atman as the sole goal, attaining Atman, attaining self-knowledge, or attaining God, or experiencing God, whatever you can say, that as their main goal for them, for such people, Tena Labhyaha, it is available. So now we are doing a lot of sadhana, no doubt. But then why are we not attaining Brahmagnana? Why are we not experiencing God? Why? Because that intense desire is not yet we have not achieved that. Tasya Atma, Tasya, for such a sincere seeker. Who was that sincere seeker? What is that nature of sincere seeker? Who has made God realization or self-realization as his sole goal or a main goal? For such a sincere seeker, Yesha Atma, this Atman, Vivrunate, reveals. Means he will be able to experience that Brahman. Ahamasmi Brahma, I am that Brahman. We know all this Mahavakya, this great statement of Upanishad, but it is an intellectual statement for us. For such a seeker, he will be experiencing Ahamasmi Brahma and Aham Brahma, he says. Yes, I am that Brahman. Swam Tanum. And its own supreme nature. Means Yes, that Brahman and I, there are no two different things. Myself is Brahman, I is Brahman, and Brahman is I. There are no two different things. Brahman and Brahman alone exist. That is my real nature. That is I am that. That's what I understand. So basically, Bhagavad Anuraga, Vishaya Viraga has been told in this shloka. Vishaya Viraga. I'm not denying the world. I'm not denying the worldly pleasures, but I'm not seeking for it. Yes, I take food just for survival. I breathe for survival. I need house, I need clothes for survival as a basic necessities. I understand. I work and I try to get all of them fine, but I am not merely obsessed with that alone. Once in a while, I would like to enjoy. Once in a while, I go here and there. That's okay. We are not bothered too much. But my main goal, main thrust is on what? Self, on God realization, on spirituality. That is what we have to understand. So whoever chooses Paramatma, whoever chooses the Atman or Brahman, then Brahman chooses such and such a person. Means I want God and God alone. I want Atman and Atman alone. That mindset has to be developed. For that we are doing tapas. For that we are doing studies. For that we are supposed to do japa. For that we are supposed to attend classes or attend satsangs. Or we have to do the prayers for that reason alone. And what are few other spiritual disciplines and other roles are also discussed in the fourth shloka. Let us try to discuss. Again, same thing. This is also often quoted shloka. It is much more misunderstood shloka also. Even from such a great speakers I have heard sometimes, but sometimes unfortunately they misquote it. Nayamatma balahinena labhya nacha pramadat tapaso vapyalingat. एतैः उपायैर्तते यस्तु विद्वान् तस्यैष आत्मा विशते ब्रह्मधाम. This self is not attained by one devoid of strength, nor through delusion, nor through knowledge unassociated with monasticism, but the self of that knower who strives through these means enters into that abode that is Brahman. Anyhow. Now, who can attain Brahman? Who can have self-realization? Who can be free person? Free person means one who is enlightened, Buddha basically. Who can be Buddha? We are all Buddhas, we know that. How can we become Buddhas? So by going and sitting under a people tree in the Bodha Gaya for some time or for some years, can I become Buddha? Because he also got that enlightenedship there. So can I also sit and do so that can I also become Buddha? Here the answer is given. Now here qualifications are the spiritual practices sadhana, atmagnana sadhana, sadhanani. So through which one can get brahmagnana has been discussed here. That has been told in the four qualities. One is balam. The second is apramadaha. The third is tapas or tapaha. Fourth is lingam. Let us see what does it mean. Now, nayamatma, ayamatma, na balahinena labhyaha. Ayamatma, this self means already whichever has been discussed, the consciousness, our inherent nature, Satyam Gnanam Anantam Brahma or Sachidananda Swarupa, that Brahman or this Brahman, na balahinena labhya, balahinena na labhya. One who has got devoid of strength for such and such a person cannot attain Brahman, means cannot experience the Brahman, cannot realize the Brahman. So this has been often quoted. So you are weak in your body. You are physically weak. Oh my dear, if you study Upanishads, you cannot attain Brahman. Why? Because Nayamatma balahinena labhyaha. Mundaka has told. Ayamatma balahinena nalabhyaha. This self is not attainable by the weak people. That's why you have to go to gym. You have to go for yoga class. You have to attend yoga class. You have to go to gym. You have to build your physical personality. Then only you can think of Atman. If that is the someone interprets, someone says it is totally wrong. Why? Sharira madhyam kalu dharma sadhanam. It is Upanishad says, people misquote it. It is not Upanishad said. Kalidasa has said in the Kumara Sambhava, where the Subramanya or Kartikeya or Kumara Swami, during his birth time, this has been discussed. Anyhow, Shariram Adyam Kalu Dharma Sadhanam. The first and foremost dharma is what? To protect the Sharira. That has been told by Kalidasa, but unfortunately people, because of the lack of ignorance or for whatever reason, that has been attributed to Upanishad. But elsewhere, Upanishad says in a different context, in a different way, that we have to take care of a body, protect body, no doubt. But here, Nayamatma Balahinena Labhya means they are not speaking of physical strength. That we have to be understood. Again, the same idea Swami Vivekananda told for one very weak fellow. He was very weak. And he was, because of his physical weakness or whatever, he was mentally also weak. So then he told for him, if you can, then that person was asking again and again, used to approach Swamiji and used to ask, can you tell about Brahmagnana? Can you teach Upanishads and etc. Once Swami Vivekananda asked, can you tell a lie? This fellow said, no. Then first you try to learn to tell lie, then let me speak of truth. So this is often quoted. Oh, Swamiji asked us to tell lies. Oh, is it right or wrong? Or what does it mean? All these things has been misquoted, unfortunately. And one more important thing is, even in so-called devotees of Swami Vivekananda, followers of Swami Vivekananda, they quote this. One fellow said, Swamiji, I am supporting football club. Of course, Bengalis, in Bengal, especially in India, they are fan of football, no doubt. Fine, good. But he said, I am supporting football clubs, and I'm spending good amount of money. Why? Because Swami Vivekananda said it is better to play football than to read Bhagavad Gita. So playing football is better than reading Bhagavad Gita. That's why I'm sponsoring football clubs. No, it is totally wrong. Swami Vivekananda didn't mean that playing football is better than Bhagavad Gita. He didn't mean that. He only said that if you're not physically weak, physically strong, then mentally also may not be strong all the while. And with that weak body and mind, you cannot really go, forward in spiritual life. That's what in general sense he has told. That doesn't mean that studying Bhagavad Gita is inferior to playing football or whatever. Swami Vivekananda didn't mean that. But unfortunately, it has been misquoted. Anyhow, here, Bhala, Ayamatma, Balahinena Nalabhya. So one who is devoid of strength, for such and such a person, he cannot attain this self. So here Bala means it is not the physical strength. Of course, we need physical strength. If we are not physically fit, we may not be able to sit for meditation because our body may pain, backache is there, low back pain is there, or leg pain is there, or headache is there, cold is there. I cannot meditate. So fit body is enough, important, no doubt. But here Balam has been, it is not the physical strength, it is inner strength or the spiritual strength has been discussed. Means the spiritual strength which has been acquired by the disciplined life, by controlling mind, by controlling sense organs, by controlling the desires, and trying to lead the contented life, trying to lead the pure life, trying to lead the ethical and moral life. All these disciplines, by that, one who has got his strength, inner strength, internal strength, spiritual strength. Without that, one cannot attain self-realization. One cannot attain self or God. That's what we mean here. So basically, the commentator says, sadhana chatushte sampannata. There, shamadamadi shatka sampatti. By practicing the 6 virtues, 6 disciplines, one who has got mental strength, one whose mind is not obsessed with the world, and one who is discriminative in his nature, for such and such a person, he gets a mental strength, spiritual strength. That strength is called here Bala. Okay. So this is the one value, one virtue by which one can get the Brahman or God according to the Upanishad. Then the second is Nacha Pramadat. So Ayam Atma Pramadat Nalabhya. This Atman is not attainable by negligence. Pramado vai mrityu. In Mahabharata, Sanat Kumara says that Pramado vai mrityu. He compares the negligence to the death actually. If you are negligent, what happens? You will lose many things. If you are not careful enough, you may lose bag, you may lose your cash, you may lose your wallet. Even you are in the bust of the city, so many times pickpockets are quite common in many of the cities. So if you're negligent, if you're not alert, you may lose wallets. Then if you're not careful, sometimes getting up will be difficult and you will wake up late. You may miss flights and trains, or you may go late to the office and your work will get suffer. Your life will get stressed out. And if you're not careful enough while entering the passwords and etc., then your what do you say, ATM cards and other debit cards or the sites can get locked. These all we see in the day-to-day life. And if doctor is not careful enough, if he is negligent, then the patient's life may go away. Like this, so many things we can explain. Here, negligence means what? It is casual approach towards the spiritual life. Okay, let me try to do meditate today. I did for a few days. Today tomorrow I'm not interested. Let me sleep, or let me have merry making, or whatever for a few days. And again, whenever I think, however I think, whenever I think, I will try to do something, and afterwards I complain. I am trying to do. I am trying to have God relation for a long time, but I'm not able to. I think once there was my Gurudev was narrating a story. When he met an IAS officer in Delhi, he was supposed to start a conversation. Then he was thinking how to start conversation because he needed something to talk. Then he saw a Bhagavad Gita book on his table, IAS officer's table. Swami Ranganathanji took this as an opportunity and said, "Oh, do you read Bhagavad Gita? Have you studied Bhagavad Gita?" He took very casually and he made a very casual, yeah, because I have to take care of a lot of responsibilities and other things. And whenever I feel little morose or little weak or little problematic or I need some peace, I will read few pages of Bhagavad Gita. So this is what casual approach. So Ranganathan immediately, instantly said, no, Bhagavad Gita is not meant for that. Then IAS officer took aback and he said, do you mean that being an IAS officer, administrator, or for administration, Bhagavad Gita can help? He said, yes. By studying Bhagavad Gita, you can be the better officer. Read it properly, study it properly. So like that, I go to ashrama sometimes whenever I'm bored. I try to attend Vedanta class whenever I need some peace of mind. I try to do some meditation. Because of that, my skin color become better, or I will be happy, or I can do a better job in my bank or in my working place. So this type of casual approach, if you have got, you cannot attain Atma Gnana. This is what. So pramada means here casual approach. And in the priority, many times he said, Swamiji, we would like to come every week to ashrama, but what to do? Because of the work, we are unable to come. Yes, fair enough. I do accept. I say that's the reason. Okay, every week you cannot come. At least monthly once you come. Monthly once or twice you try to come. For evening arati at least. Says, yes, Swamiji, I want to come. Let me say. After, oh, Swamiji, lot of responsibilities are there, lot of works are there, so we are unable to come. I don't deny them, and I'm not putting them down also. That means in their priority list, coming to ashrama, trying to meditate, trying to do bhajans, or trying to think of Lord or self is at the last priority. They might not be coming to ashrama if they are doing spiritual practices and other things in a what do you say, every day in a good manner. Never mind, that's okay. But many times it is not so. So that means either God or the self or the Vedanta has been put under your priority list below at the last. That's the reason we say we think that we don't have time. We don't have time. So according to the Upanishads, in your priority list, self-realization, God relation should be in the top list. Let me work. Let me take care of my responsibilities. Let me discharge my responsibilities. I'm a CEO of the company, manager of a bank, or whatnot. Let us do all that, no doubt. Upanishad is not saying don't do it. You do all of them, but your priority should be God, attaining God or self-realization. So God-centered life, self-centered life. Self-centered life means what? Conscious-centered life. That should be there. That is what called apramadaha. Pramada means negligence, casual approach. By this casual approach, one cannot get the Brahman. Why? Because my mind is towards the world and its object. Sense gratification, power, position, name, fame, and whatnot. My mind is always obsessed with that. And among them, God is also one item which is there in my list. Something is better than nothing, no doubt. But such a person cannot attain Brahmagnana. If you want Brahmagnana, if you want experience of the self, I am the self, then you cannot have casual approach towards the spirituality or towards the Vedanta. The third value or virtue is what? Tapas. So nacha pramadaha tapasaha va. Yesha atma tapasaha na labhyate. Tapas means what? Tapyate iti tapaha. Which burns, which purifies is what tapas. So by penance, what do I get? My body is getting purified. My mind is getting purified. My senses are getting purified because I am losing the ignorance. I am losing the impurities. Or I am becoming much more and more purer. So that is what penance, one meaning. Here, the meaning of the tapas here in this particular sloka is what? Acquiring knowledge. Gnanam. I've got a maths knowledge. Is that also gnanam? Yes, in general, yes. But here gnanam is what? Atma gnanam or Vedanta gnanam. Acquiring the Vedanta gnanam, Brahmaikya bhava, Brahmaikyata gnana, it should be the utmost priority, which is very important for me. That should be the case. So gnana is the primary means to attain moksha or mukti. So one should go behind it. One should be desperate to have that gnana. That is experiential gnana or aprokshanabhuti gnana. The fourth interesting is what? Lingam, lingad. So what is that lingad? Lingam means with mark, identity. Here lingam, what is that mark or identity means? Here it is what? Sannyasa, denunciate, sannyasi. What do you mean by that? Why sannyasa has been told here? That means his Upanishad is asking that if you want Brahmagnana, all of you should take the renunciate life. All of us should become either monks or nuns. Is it the Upanishad is trying to say? No. Here, because see, according to our scripture, there is no choice for spirituality. Either you are a bachelor, or an householder, or a retired person, or a monk. Basically, the chaturashramas, for all the 4 stages of life, the people in the 4 stages, for all of them, there is no option, choice for spirituality. Whether I want, I will practice. Whether I don't want, I will not practice. Sometimes we keep on hearing like this, but our Upanishads won't give this choice. They have not given the choice. Spirituality is the must and should compulsory for every one of us. Now, for an example, in India, if you study your primary education or secondary education, the 6 subjects you have to study. 3 optional subjects and 3 languages. First language, second language, third language. Oh, I will read only one, I don't read 2, or I will read 4 languages and 2 optional subjects. No, that is not possible. So the choice, you don't have a choice in the subjects. Either you can go to state syllabus or a central syllabus. That choice you have got. But whether to study 2 subjects or 3 subjects or 6 subjects, you don't have a choice. So similarly, for a human being, Shastras have not given any choice with respect to spirituality. But the means, the path which you want to attain that spirituality, attain God or attain self-realization, there is a choice for us. One is pravrutti marga, the other is nivrutti marga. Shreyo marga or preyo marga, we say. That I would like to become an householder. I built my personality and I've got knowledge and skills. Now I will go to householder life. I will take care of my family, take care of my parents and wife or husband and children. Apart from that, I will also discharge my responsibilities towards my family, towards the society. So I will be trying to discharge my duties, discharge my responsibilities, and I am trying to do some contributions to the society and also spirituality. So it doesn't mean that I'm a householder. Since I'm a householder, whether to do japa or meditation, to lead spiritual life or not, if I'm interested, I will do. If not, no. If not, no. That choice has not been given. Spiritual life is must and should for every one of us. So along with that, householders has to do separate things. They have to contribute something to society in different ways. Contribution means not only monetary contribution, in different ways, and they have got duties towards themselves, to the country, to the society, or to the parents and to the family. So the duties and responsibilities has to be discharged, and the spiritual life also has to be taken care of. Because we have got so many things you have to do, there some relaxation has been given with the spiritual life. Okay. In the for Nivrutti Margi, that is for a monk, there is nothing else except God realization or self-realization alone is the main goal for them. Main goal or secondary goal, they have to keep on doing it. They have to keep on striving. Either meditation or a self-contemplation or a devotional practices, whatever it may be, that should be our main meal and side meal also. One has to strive for God relation, self-relation all the times. And For a grostha, internal renunciation has been told by scriptures, and for a sannyasi, external and as well as internal renunciation. Both are being told. So that lingat means here what? If it is for a son, it is generally it is told here sannyasi. Why they have told sannyasi? Because sannyasi, he has dedicated his life for the knowledge pursuit, for the experience of the self. That's why it has been told. Now, for a grostha, if it has been taken this word for grostha, internal renunciation has to be practiced. Yes, I am a owner of an house. I have to build an house for my existence, for my family. I built it as a duty, responsibility, but I am not attached to it. Yes, we need clothes, we need vehicles, two-wheelers or four-wheelers, we need some gold and jewelry. We shall purchase, no doubt, as a necessity, no doubt. But I should not get obsessed by that. I should not get attached to that, and I should not restrict myself. So without attachment, how can we live in the life in the world? That's what many people ask. But it is a wrong idea. Without that also, one can live. In the sense of duty, in the sense of responsibilities, one can acquire all of them as a necessity. How much ever is necessary, acquire it and go ahead in your life. That is what internal renunciation. And renunciation of the ahankara and mamakara, me and mine or I and mine, and the renunciation of the ego, renunciation of the internal, uh, raga, dvesha, abhinivesha, and then kama, krodha, all these impurities also has to be renounced. All these are part of internal renunciation. So one who has got a strength, one who is not negligent, one who doesn't have a casual attitude, and one who has got knowledge about the self, and one who has got internal renunciation, especially from the householder point of view. If these four values have got, such and such a person attains Brahmagnana. He experienced the Brahman in this very life. This is what has been. So without these four strengths, four virtues, one cannot get moksha or mukti or atmagnana. Four strengths, one cannot, without these four strengths, one cannot attain moksha. With these four strengths, one can attain moksha. So Anvaya Vitireki Nyaya logic. So that has been told in this fourth shloka. Etaihi upayaihi. The third line, etaihi upayi. Through such means the four virtues, the four values which has been discussed till now, four qualifications. Etai upayi yatate, yaha yatate. One who strives, one who sincerely strives, yaha yatate, yastu vidwan. Vidwan, the man of knowledge, because he has got already understanding. Tasya, for him tasya, to him, of that enlightened person, yesha atma, this self, brahmadama vishate, he enters into the abode of Brahman. Or like there's called Svargaloka, Gandharvaloka, Pitraloka, there's also called Brahmaloka. So he attains to the Brahmaloka? No, it is a figurative sense here. It is not Brahmaloka you're saying. He attains to the abode of Brahman means what? The duality, the differentiation that I am the individual self, embodied self, and there is a supreme self. There's a Brahman and the supreme self, and I am the Jivatma, embodied self. That duality we have got. The duality ceases to exist. I am that Brahman, we be able to understand. So the individual self gets merged in the supreme self. Means the notion of individuality, the notion of pseudo-individuality gets disappeared. For example, when the Kaveri water, Ganges water, gets merged with the ocean, what happens? The Kaveri water loses individuality, the Ganges loses its individuality. So similarly, when we experience our true nature, inherent nature, then what happens? The pseudo-individuality gets nullified, gets removed, gets cancelled. Then what happens? Then immortal, I will become immortal. I will become immortal is also in the limiting sense actually. But I was always immortal only, but I had forgotten. Then again, now it has been re-established. So this is what. So one who can attain Brahmagnana has been told here. So basically, here the author is telling very clearly, who can attain Brahmagnana? One who should be serious about his spiritual pursuit. One should be committed. One cannot be negligent. So there should be complete understanding, and the main goal should be the moksha, mukti, or Bhagavad Sakshatkara. Such and such a person alone can attain self, can attain God. then are we householders, we have got so many duties, so many responsibilities. Then what is the way out? Yes, you do all of them, no doubt, in the form of nishkama karma or in the form of kartavyata. You do as a part of worship to the God. You can do all of them, and this also you can use as a stepping stone, a means for attaining God realization. And slowly and steadily, doing spiritual practices, we should slowly and steadily, we should make the moksha or mukti as the main goal, main meal. Then you can attain. So casual approach is not possible. This is what the meaning of the two slokas. So what to be done, what not to be done has been told beautifully in these two slokas. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu. Yes, any questions?
Swamiji, one question. Not so much a question, more an observation. Eventually, both are pointing towards mumukshvatvam, isn't it?
Yes. So mumukshatva means here intense desire for liberation.
Correct. Even when they talk about strength, casual attitude, all that is again going back to mumukshvatvam.
Yes, yes, you are right. Because once
In a
you
way,
have
this too.
desire, automatically you will
Yeah.
find time, you will work. For an example, an athlete who wants to go for the national level, international level, or Olympics, day in and day out he works. His body, his mind, his time, everything is concentrated towards it. That's where he gets this chance, or he becomes fit enough to go there. So similarly, all our life and work should be concentrated, should be diverted to that.
So, in that sense, in these two verses, while there are other means to sadhana, this one is really about mumukshvatva.
Yes,
That's
you are
the
right.
way it stands.
Yes. Okay, then I don't think any other questions are there, I suppose.
None from my side.
Namaskar. I have no questions because you have given us a big task of being serious and absolutely focused. So we have to inculcate that before we put a question on this, because at least I have heard at least 9 to 10 times you repeated the same sentence that casualness will not do. So
Of course, you can. What you say? You can put the blame on me. Never mind. I'm ready to accept it. But that is not my statement. I have only re-echoed the Upanishadic statement.
that's okay, Maharaj. Namaskar.
It's
Pranam.
also a little bit, I won't say contradictory, because even in Gnana Yoga they start with Mukshatvam. But in a way, it reorients what is important. Right? It
It's a
just
recapitulation
knowledge.
because this last chapter is a recapitulation. Whatever has been told till now, so he is doing a revision, a short revision is doing.
Yeah. The other way, at least I see it, is it also reminds that just mindless pursuit of Gnana Yoga is not the only,
Yes, yes.
is not a way.
Like, yeah, people have got a what do you say, a fancy towards reading so many books, reading so many isms or philosophies, and it is like intellectual pursuit or quenching the intellectual thirst. By that you can't get a moksha or mukti. So whatever you know, put into practice. The other statement, also other corollary can be taken from that is, whatever you know, you start put into practice. Without practice, you don't get anything.
The other thing to think about, Swamiji, is intense desire something that I'm assuming that we can cultivate,
Mhm,
but a lot of people have it inherently.
mhm.
Is it? Is there a path to cultivate in intense desire, right? Or is
Yeah,
it
there is
just
a
one
path.
leap and say,
Yeah, how to cultivate intense desire for God relation or self realization. There are few things. One is, as we know, we are trying to read some good books, maybe Life of Saints, Life of Prophets or Incarnations, and their teachings. So they will directly or indirectly, they'll be keep on remembering or reminding us what to be done and what not to be done, and why to be done and why not to be done. That's the one thing. Second thing is prayer. And the third is trying to understand the transitoriness of the human world or mundane world. When we say, especially when we say Vairagya, transitoriness of the world and all, so many times people mistake that we are denouncing the world, or we are undermining, or we are putting down the world and all. No. So what probably the Vedanta is trying to put is, you are giving over importance to the world. You don't neglect the world. You don't give undue importance. You don't give over importance. You give whatever is necessary only. This is what called emotional maturity. So once you develop that emotional maturity, you will be doing all your activities, but you will have enough time, strength, and energy for spiritual pursuits. Why we lose our energy, why we lose our mind, etc., etc. One is because of our desires. First is that. Second thing is, somewhere we don't understand how much importance to be given.
Swamiji, can we look at it this way? To be eligible for the Jnana path, there has to be some level of purification of mind, which means if we Nishkama karma, then automatically, not automatically, but effortfully, if we do the Nishkama karma, then it would lead to a strong, intense desire for liberation, the mumukshutvam, because
Yeah. See, one is Nishkama karma and the other is Upasana yoga. Both are being told in the traditional Advaita Vedanta. From Nishkama karma, you will get Chitta Shuddhi. You will get purity of the mind. And by Upasana or Bhakti yoga, rough translation, by Bhakti yoga, according to the traditional Advaitins, again, we should, this in double quotes. So traditional Advaita Vedanta is that by doing Bhakti yoga, practicing Bhakti yoga or Upasana yoga, you will get Chitta Ekagrata. There is emotional maturity or the concentration, basically. So when you've got a good amount of concentration and purity of the mind, then definitely you'll be fit person to study Vedanta or practice Vedanta, and both of them will help us to intensify our desire or spiritual practices towards the liberation.
But the Chitta Ekagrata, you can get it even without ritualistic practices, right, Swamiji? So
that's why I use the word called emotional maturity. See, because you might get, you have got purity of mind, you might have got concentration also, but I mean, things and situations and incidents can disturb us easily, isn't it? Easily, we have seen quite a few people who are really, they're good, they're very good people, very pious people, but they are disturbed. Because by XYZ. That means what? They're giving undue importance for XYZ, that's the reason they're getting disturbed. Some of them you can't avoid, some of them you can't change, some of them, how do you handle it? All these things is what emotional stability. That's where one has to develop. Because of that, otherwise, living in the world, we lose a lot of our time and energy for this. Yeah. And also, why intense desire has been given, even from a general normal way, if you think, when you got intense desire, obviously your time, mind, energy, everything is concentrated towards it. That's where our pursuits or our attempts will become very serious in nature. Quantity and quality both gets increased. So that's where the Rishi is giving so much importance for the intense desire, I must say.
But Maharaj, intense desire comes only if the non-attachment or detachment is achieved. Is it
Directly
right?
proportional.
Excuse
If you
me?
get, it is all directly proportional. Like you get more and more purity of the mind, your intense desire can be cultivated, and you get more and more intense desire, then also the purity of the mind is also attained. So when
the
I get
purity of mind is connected to non-attachment.
Yes. Otherwise, how can you get detached? The more and more you get purer, sattvic, I mean to say, then you will easily get detached, isn't it? Yeah.
Swamiji, what will be the next topic that you will be taking up?
I don't know that. I told you, one is Sadhana Panchakam. I told Dakshinamurti Stotra can be thought over. Then someone has sent a message for me. Prashnopanishad can you take? Yes. Or Kathopanishad also can be thought over. Anyway, I'm leaving to the group. You can discuss among yourselves. What do you want? You can think. Or even one more I was thinking probably keeping a Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, but it is a very big one. I know it will take few years. So Bhagavad Gita also can be taken. Maybe if not going individual shlokas, as a chapter wise or a few shlokas, we can also discuss. Yeah. So I will
I'll run a poll on the group and then come back.
Yeah, you can do the poll on the group and you can come back. Yes, that's a good idea. Okay, thank you.